What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We took out the mini Jeep for a shakedown run and we broke some things. That is right, guys. In preparation for a lot of adventures coming soon, I wanted to take this thing in stock form out to a trail. We did 6 miles of off-roading up a steep hill at 9,500 feet, which proved pretty difficult for that little motor, carburation especially. Doesn't do good at altitude. But essentially, we took it out. I wanted to try out the Jeep, see how it handles, see how I can do filming, try different camera angles, try out the drone. I had a lot of issues with some of the cameras. I had a lot of issues with the mini Jeep. So I kind of just did a shakedown run, figured it out. So that way when I do the real big videos, it's good content for you guys. So I filmed the whole thing. Not everything's the best because, like I said, I'm learning how to film with this thing. It's different than the Bronco. So cool your ash, pack your trash, enjoy the video. I'll see you on the trails. And stay tuned for the end when I tell you what broke. Let's go. Beep, beep. It's the last 5 minutes. Well, the adventure was off. This is my first time, honestly, ever taking the mini Jeep anywhere other than around my block into the local mall crawling hangout. So we'll see how this does. I'm expecting 5 minutes like I just said, but the total route today is going to be 6 miles. Very bouncy. Yeah, I can hear you. There's not much power because of the altitude. There's one thing, and that's the suspension. It's rough, to say the least. This mini Jeep was tossing me around. Now, I do love it. It was quite the adventure, but I'm for sure going to eventually be investing into some new suspension, and the GoPro does not have a gimbal mount, so the footage gets a little shaky at times. I apologize for that, but we're going to keep trucking on and seeing how fast we can get this thing. I think I got up to like 14 on this mountain road. One thing for sure too is that this mini Jeep gets a ton of attention. I didn't pass very many vehicles on the trail, but the highway up, everyone and their mom seemed to be slowing down on the freeway, taking pictures, waving, smiling, looking back. It was a good time. And then even on the trail, the few people I did pass, everyone stopped and stared and took pictures, and I heard a lot of pretty funny comments. Definitely gets a lot of attention on the trails. Well, my GoPros are falling off right here and everything seems to be shaking loose, so I'm going to get back to the video. Well, after about a good 20-30 minutes of driving and a few miles, we made it to the lake. You remember from my previous video about, I think it was titled Paradise, we found paradise? I'll link it up above. We had come to this lake not too long ago in a couple Broncos, and I decided to come back with the mini Jeep for the shakedown run, and you'll see why towards the end with the crazy views you have from the lookout just above this lake. But found some parking, got set up, and spent the next couple hours just kind of chilling at the lake and enjoying the scenery. Spending some time at the lake and taking my son on a little quick easy ride around the lake corner, I decided to try and shoot for the big guns and take this little guy up the hill all the way to the top for what is an incredible lookout over the mountains and over the Carson River. This hill was rough, as you'll see. I was in first gear almost the whole time. It's about 2 miles long, and I had to stop a couple times, as you'll find out. Well, after getting left behind by my wife, I popped the drone up and, well, it decided to go kamikaze on me right there. I am not sure what happened, but apparently the Mini has a tough time of tracking me on the Mini Jeep. Ironically, they share the same name. Not sure what the problem was, but I didn't want that to happen again, whatever that was. If you're talking to me, but I'm coming. am having a wee bit of trouble here with the carburetor at this kind of altitude. I'm at 9,500 feet right now, and the Mini Jeep is not liking it. Finally made it up the hill. That was quite the adventure. Now it's time to get some sick drone shots and enjoy the view. Coming through this tree line every time gets me. The incredible views you experience coming up onto this ridge line is just simply breathtaking, and experiencing it in the Mini Jeep was freaking unreal. I had a blast on this trip, guys. It took several hours, a little bit longer than I anticipated. Ran into some issues here and there, but all was to be expected. This is a shakedown run at the end of the day. The point is to figure out the kinks, what doesn't work, what works, and to come up with a solution for later. So stay tuned. Here's what happened as far as damage. All right, guys. Well, that was quite the trip. Like I said, we did 6 total miles of off-roading. The thing rattled to pieces, but it's still in one piece. I know that doesn't make sense. So a couple things we need to work on. The engine has no power altitude. Duh, it's carbureted, okay? I was pretty much stuck in first gear and sometimes second gear. Other than that, third was useless to me. It just has no power. So for some rock crawling stuff, I'm gonna have to do a re-gear. Otherwise, for the streets, it's fine as it is. The tires, they are just all over the place. They skip, hop, and jump on every bump. There's no suspension travel on the front or back. We're gonna see if we can fix that with some new shocks, take it in for an alignment, stiffen up some stuff on that end. Gas. This thing sucks up gas fast. I don't know how big that tank is, but I had to fill it up once on the trail with only 6 miles. So I get about 4 to 5, I get about 5 miles to a tank on those steep inclines doing some pretty extreme stuff. So I'm gonna have to figure out a better tank setup for the Rubicon or some longer adventures, or just bring extra gas with me. We'll see, we'll figure something out. The new battery I put in, that's doing well. Odometer, that magically turned on and started working, so I was able to get those 6 miles for you guys. It's GPS, so it should be pretty accurate. These tires actually did pretty well. They had quite a bit of grip. I am gonna go a size up though, because I hit some stuff on rocks, and as you can see, I snapped the weld on my chain guard, both of them. So I'm gonna re-weld that up, make it stronger, beefier, add a better skid to that sucker, and then get some bigger tires on with the shocks to get just a little bit more clearance underneath so I stop hitting things. And hopefully the goal with the new suspension too, and some other adjustments I'll make to the arms, is I'll have a little bit more flex, because this thing doesn't flex at all. So hopefully we'll get some more flex out of it, we'll see. Other than that, everything else did pretty well. It held together miraculously. No real breakdowns. I was able to drive it all the way there and back, no problems. I had the trailer in tow, but it worked just fine. As far as the engine goes, like I said, everything worked out pretty well, but this bolt right here, or this nut, it did back out. This was an issue a while ago where the nut came loose and oil started coming out. I started smelling some burnt oil. I thought the engine was overheating. It turns out it was probably just this nut had backed out and oil was leaking out. So I got to tighten that back down, and that should be just fine. And that's it. It did pretty well. My son broke my mirror. He already broke that one. Now he broke that one. So, I mean, that's not a trailer issue, but yeah. So oil cooler, that was a must. That kept my temps down. I was having overheating issues before. That fixed that problem. The only other thing is these things do not like altitude. I'll keep saying that. These do not do well with altitude. So if you're considering a mini Jeep and you live up high, I hope you're good with adjusting carburetors or figuring out how to make them work at that kind of elevation. This little engine does not like elevation at all. It was a struggle, but it was fun. My back hurts this morning, so time for a chiropractor appointment. Other than that, guys, I am stoked to outfit this thing, to start modding it and getting it ready for some more extreme trails. Stay tuned. We're going to go to Black Rock Playa. We're going to go to my namesake mountain. You'll want to watch that video. That's going to be cool. And of course, at the very end, or at some point, this thing's going to be going to the Rubicon. So cool your ash, pack your trash, and I'll see you on the trails.